This is Cyprus, one of the most underrated islands in Europe. We've now visited Cyprus 3 different times, once as a couple, once with friends, and once again because we simply couldn't stay away. And every single trip showed us something completely different. It's an island where you can swim in crystal clear lagoons, drive through mountain villages filled with vineyards, cross an international border right in the middle of its capital, and watch the sunset from some of the most beautiful beaches we've ever seen. Before we dive into our 10 favorite places in Cyprus, here are a few things we wish we had known before our first visit. First, don't let driving on the left side of the road scare you. We were honestly a little nervous before picking up our rental car, but after about half an hour, it felt surprisingly natural, and having a car completely changes your trip. Some of the best places in Cyprus simply aren't possible to explore properly without one. If you're planning to spend time around Protaras, take a look at the seafront Protaras Resort villas and apartments. If you're traveling with another couple or your family, they can sometimes cost surprisingly little per person. One time, we paid just 70 euros per person, and the villa actually had more bedrooms than people staying in it. And waking up just a few steps from the sea is an experience we'll never forget. Most people come to Cyprus for the beaches, but you don't want to miss the wineries. Cyprus is famous for Komandaria, a sweet dessert wine that is considered the world's oldest named wine still produced today. Even if you're not a huge wine lover, the mountain villages alone are absolutely worth the drive. I will share more tips along the way, but before this becomes a 3-hour documentary, these are the 10 places in Cyprus we think you shouldn't miss. Number 10. Larnaca. If you're flying to Cyprus, there's a good chance your trip will begin in Larnaca. And honestly, it's a really nice introduction to the island. The city is known for its palm-lined Finikudes promenade, long seafront, small cafes, and the beautiful church of St. Lazarus right in the heart of the city. But one of the most unique places here is Larnaca Salt Lake. During the winter months, the lake becomes home to thousands of flamingos. Just keep in mind, the flamingos are seasonal, so if you're visiting during summer, like we did twice, you might find a completely dry salt lake instead. Larnaca might not be the most dramatic place on this list, but it's a perfect place to start your trip. Number 9. Nicosia. Nicosia is unlike any other capital in Europe, because it's the last divided capital city in the world. One side belongs to the Republic of Cyprus, the other to Northern Cyprus, controlled by Turkey. And yes, you can actually walk from one side to the other. The first time you reach the checkpoint, it feels a little strange. We weren't quite sure what to expect either, but the whole process was quick, simple, and much more relaxed than we imagined. Just don't forget to bring your passport. Within just a few minutes, you'll notice how the atmosphere, architecture, shops, and even the currency begin to change. It's one of those experiences that makes you realize Cyprus isn't just about beautiful beaches. It also has one of the most fascinating histories anywhere in the Mediterranean. Number 8. The Troodos Mountains. If you think Cyprus is only about beaches, this part of the island will completely change your mind. The higher you drive into the mountains, the greener everything becomes, and suddenly, Cyprus feels like a completely different country. We recommend seeing Pano Lefkara, Omodos, Panagia Makaira Monastery. Just drive narrow mountain roads and watch beautiful vineyards hidden between the hills. And speaking of vineyards, visit a local winery. We tried Lamburi Winery, and it was absolutely amazing experience. Cyprus has been producing wine for thousands of years, and as I mentioned before, the island is especially famous for Komandaria. And honestly, even if sweet wine is not usually your thing, you should at least try it once. Wine tastings in the Troodos Mountains are relaxed, the views are beautiful, and sometimes you end up spending much longer at a winery than you originally planned. Troodos is the perfect escape from the beaches and one of the best ways to see a completely different side of Cyprus. Number 7. Ayia Napa. Now, you've probably already heard a few stories about this place. Ayia Napa is famous for nightlife, clubs, bars, and parties that sometimes continue until the sun comes up. And yes, if you want to party in Cyprus, this is probably where you'll end up. But Ayia Napa surprised us, because during the day, it feels completely different. Nissi Beach offers one of the clearest water on the island. Ayia Napa Sea Caves, Crow's Arch, Bridge of Love, a modern marina, and a coastline that looks nothing like the party town you see at night. We are not really huge party people ourselves, but we still think Ayia Napa is absolutely worth visiting. And if nightlife is your thing, well, you probably won't need much convincing anyway. Just don't make the mistake of thinking Ayia Napa is only about clubs. Some of the most beautiful coastal scenery in Cyprus is actually right around the corner. Number 6. Adonis Baths. Hidden in the hills, Adonis Baths is a waterfall with a natural pool surrounded by trees and rock. And getting there is part of the experience. The road can be a little rough, and at some point, you may start wondering if Google Maps has completely betrayed you. But eventually, you arrive at this small, hidden oasis in the middle of the Cypriot countryside. According to Greek mythology, this area is connected to Adonis and Aphrodite. But most people come here for one simple reason: to swim underneath the waterfall. The water can be surprisingly cold, especially after spending several days on hot Cypriot beaches. Adonis Baths feels completely different from the coast. It's green, quiet, and a little wild. Number 5. Paphos. This city has a little bit of everything. A beautiful harbor, a long seaside promenade, restaurants overlooking the water, ancient ruins, and some of the most important archaeological sites on the island. Paphos itself is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and you can literally walk from a modern cafe straight into places that are thousands of years old. But honestly, even if history isn't really your thing, Paphos is simply a lovely place to spend a few days. And about a 25-minute drive away, you'll find one of the strangest sights in Cyprus: the EDRO III Shipwreck. A huge cargo ship has been sitting just off the rocky coast since 2011, and it's definitely worth a quick stop, especially around sunset. Number 4. Protaras. This was probably one of the biggest surprises for us. When people think about Cyprus, they usually talk about Ayia Napa, but just a few minutes away, Protaras feels completely different. Much quieter, more relaxed, and home to one of the most beautiful beaches on the island, Fig Tree Bay. The water here is unbelievably clear, and it's easy to understand why this beach has repeatedly been ranked among the best in Europe. This is also where we discovered the seafront villas. If you're looking for a slower, more relaxing side of Cyprus, Protaras is hard to beat. Number 3. Cape Greco. Every corner looks different. Towering cliffs, hidden sea caves, natural rock bridges, and some of the bluest water we've ever seen. One of our favorite things to do here was just driving from viewpoint to viewpoint, stopping whenever something caught our eye. And if you're lucky enough to catch sunset here, you'll quickly understand why so many people fall in love with Cyprus. Number 2. The Blue Lagoon. This is probably the closest Cyprus gets to the Caribbean. Hidden on the Akamas Peninsula, the Blue Lagoon is famous for its unbelievably clear turquoise water. The best way to visit is by boat. You can join one of the many boat tours from Lachi or rent your own boat and explore the coastline at your own pace. Jump into the water, swim, relax on the boat, and try not to check your phone every 5 minutes. This is one day trip we definitely wouldn't skip. But somehow, there is still one place in Cyprus we love even more. Number 1. Nissi Beach. Yes, we know this might be a controversial choice. Some people would probably put the Blue Lagoon first, or Cape Greco, or maybe even Fig Tree Bay. But after visiting Cyprus 3 different times, Nissi Beach is still the place we always want to return to. During the day, the beach can get busy, very busy. So if you want to see Nissi at its best, come early in the morning. We've visited a lot of beautiful beaches, but Nissi is one of those places we still talk about after coming home. And for us, that's why it takes the number 1 spot. So, which place would you visit first? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoy discovering places like this, make sure to subscribe for more cinematic travel guides. There is still a lot more of the world left to explore.